Listen, I think that we all need to just come back down to reality just a little bit here because things have gotten a little bit too crazy in the social media world. And if you are struggling mentally, thinking, I don't make enough money, I don't have all the things I need to have, and why am I so effing far behind in my life, and why don't I look so beautiful like everyone else I see, then please stick around to this video, hit the like button, subscribe, let's get into it. My name is Chloe, and I primarily work in the field of eating disorders, helping girls get their period back from, disastrous dieting and over exercising routines. And today we're going to be talking about a seemingly non related topic to eating disorders, and yet, oh my gosh, so related. Whether you have an ED or not, this video is for you because I think we're all starting to feel really just pressured by what we are seeing online. And so, some vulnerability here. My mental health when I scroll Instagram and social media can be SHIT at times, a lot of the times. Because here I go on social media land and I see these perfect, seemingly perfect lives of these people living in their perfect houses with their perfect cars, with their perfect partners, with their perfect babies, with the perfect makeup routine, with all of this stuff, right? And it makes me think like, what the heck am I doing with my life and why am I so ridiculously far behind? How do they have all of these things? What really started this frustration was when I started seeing on TikTok and on Instagram this idea of the $1,500 maintenance routine that a lot of girls are coming out and being like, here's how much I spend every single month, on just beauty products. And there's this whole like thing about like it, costing $1,500. And I'm sitting here going like, in this economy, like who is able to realistically actually spend $1,500 on makeup and skincare? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because we keep on getting like indoctrinated with this stuff. Like literally, this is all I'm like scrolling on TikTok here, and this is all I see. My $1,500 maintenance routine, my beauty routine. That's $1,500, like a month, not like for the year. If it was for the year, I'd be like, okay, yeah, cool. I'm interested in one of those products. This is like for a month. For a month, these girls, young girls, they all look young. They all look like 17, 20, 23, like they are spending $1,500, $1,500 a month on beauty routines. So, yes, this is what kind of sparked this desire to chat about this because social media is just such a farce at times. I mean, to think that it's realistic to be spending this much money on beauty, on skincare a month is absolutely ridiculous. I think numbers sometimes really can prove a point. So let's just do a little numbers game here. The average income in the US is $31,000 a year. The average income, I'm saying it again, of someone in the US is $31,000 in a year. Minus taxes, that probably comes out to 20,000. Minus rent, I literally don't even know how people are surviving, let alone spending $1,500 a month on skincare. Now, I'm all for, you got the money, hun, do what you want with it. But what really scares me is I feel like in the past couple of years, what I've seen on a very like frequent basis, and now I just kind of see it everywhere, is like I'll be on like Cotton On buying clothes, and then I get to the checkout and it's like, $120, right? And then I get the option to pay in payments. And I'm sitting here thinking like, if I had to pay in payments, I probably shouldn't be buying these shoes and this new hat and this new t-shirt. Now, I know, again, this might ruffle some feathers because we gotta do what we gotta do, and that option could be a lifesaver for a lot of people. But in my mind, I'm thinking, how many people are abusing the system and just going into debt to stay up to date with the trends, the styles, and the beauty routines? Think about it. I personally, this is just where I'm at in my life, and just my kind of attitude and mentality towards money and finances. I personally would never, ever, ever like finance out a t-shirt. My car, sure. My car is a necessity for me. It's a big purchase, especially in this day and age. I feel like even to get a used car, you're up in the like 30,000s. It's like ridiculous for a car. Sure, I get that. That helps me get to and from places I need it. I'm gonna finance that. If I have to finance a t-shirt, I'm not gonna be doing that. I would never, ever, 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 ever do that. So I'm thinking to myself, how many of these girls are going into massive debt just for the sake of showing online their perfect life, that girl routine, right? I'm that girl. I'm like, do you know how pricey it is to be that girl? Okay, so let's just look at some stats of like how much people with degrees and working serious jobs are making in a year. So I looked up, I'm in Texas right now, so I looked up a lot of just stats in Texas. A criminal lawyer is making 68 to 130K per year. Again, minus taxes, minus rent, minus food, minus bills, minus health insurance, all the necessities. You're not left with too much, and that's as a lawyer. Making 130K a year, I still personally, again, with how I deal with finances, sorry, wouldn't be spending $1,500 on just my beauty routine. A doctor, so my brother is a doctor, and I asked him, I was like, hey, just curious, you went to med school for multiple years, you are in a serious job, you work in the hospital, you're saving people's lives, how much money are you making in a year? Just let me know. Average doctor salary, 130K to 190 per year. Average. Obviously, if you're a surgeon and you specialize in certain things, of course, you can be making up to the 500,000 to even seven figures. But realistically, most just like general practitioners are making, I mean, maybe I'll give it to them, maybe 200K a year. Probably in the 150 area. And that's a doctor. I think social media has really warped our perception of like money and worth and value. I see, all these people who are just, making viral content on TikTok of like dancing videos, and they're somehow ranking in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And I'm just sitting here going like, wow, this is going to be controversial. But I'm sitting here going like, is it good that we just have a bunch of TikTokers making a bunch of money? Again, back to these like 19-year-old OnlyFan girls and TikTokers who are making, again, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. How good is that we now have some of the like wealthiest people in our world be people who aren't really producing anything in life? I know, don't hate me when I say this, but they're creating just SEXY dancing videos on TikTok. I think it's become a little bit crazy how much they are making. But the point of this video is we look at this stuff and then we look at their lifestyle and the bags that they're buying and the dinners that they're going to and all of that. And again, you have the money, do it. But I'm literally like, we are so out of touch with reality, and I just feel like it makes us sit in our apartments, sit here and think like, oh my gosh, like I am so poor and I am not doing anything right in life. And I think that that's a big stressor that um our age group kind of has, is this idea of like we see all this wealth, not just like we see someone who is, doing well for themselves. We see wealth, like insane spending, insane lifestyles, going on all these vacations, which it's pricey. It's so pricey. I went to France this last summer. I was there for like a month, month and a half. And like literally the only reason why like I was able to go was because I have family that lives in France. And so I got a free stay everywhere I went. Like I did not spend any money on a place to stay. Like, so I didn't have that. And I didn't buy clothes or things like that. And like, I just tried to sit on the beach all day. And besides food, I'd say food was my one big spender there. But I had put money aside to splurge on that, you know, my one vacation of the year. Um, and again, I'm not saying that I want people to like work in 9 to 5 jobs, not making any money that they hate. I think it's amazing what social media has done. It has given us the opportunity to make a lot of money and to be doing what we love and all of that. That's great. Again, just bringing it back to reality here of like, you don't need to be quote unquote that girl with the perfect aesthetically pleasing apartment and the, you know, the insane skincare routines and all of the bags and all of the clothes. And it's like, seriously, some of these girls on Instagram, I'm like, I just scrolled through what, like 4,000 pictures of you, and I did not see you double an outfit once. Like, I never saw you wear the same thing twice. Like, what? How is that possible? I'm wearing right now, like, I'm wearing like my Skims little onesie thing. I'm like, I wear this like 3 times a week. It's like one of my staples. I rewear my clothes because I don't have all that money to just keep on buying clothes. And then back to the whole point of like, do they even have the money to buy all of these clothes? I'm not sure. I think credit card debt is like insanely huge in our society right now. And I feel like this kind of keeping up with the Joneses mentality is getting a lot of people in trouble where they are living outside of their means to fit in, to look like everyone else on social media. Again, it impacted my mental health for such a long time. And I'm finally just at the age and at the place in my life where I'm like, I just want a slow, beautiful life, living in my means. Just like, I don't need all of this extravagance. Like, I don't need that. I want good community. I want good friends. I want work that I'm passionate about, which I totally am. I love what I get to do. I want to make good money. Of course, I'm not someone who's against money and against having nice stuff. Not at all. Not at all. But I'm not basing like my happiness off of my Instagram aesthetic. I'm just not. Just not. I'm not feeling the pressure to, I don't want to be feeling the pressure to buy something that is radically out of my means when I don't need to, truly and honestly, for my happiness. I can live in my small apartment and just have like the best time living here in Texas, making all these friends, creating memories. And yes, of course, we need money to survive. But again, it's like the things that matter most in life are not the monetary things. Well, we need money, and it's, trust me, to be financially secure, it feels really good. But I think we forget just the beauty of laughing with friends. I think we forget the powerful impact of watching a sunset, of being outside in nature, of hugging people. We don't have to have all these fancy things to be happy. And I think maybe that's just the message that I wanted to share here of like, if you're feeling overwhelmed by all of this and you're doing risky things like putting yourself in a lot of debt to keep up, check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself, because I think a lot of people we see online are wrecking themselves. We're just not seeing it. We're just not seeing it. And I wanted to make this video so that we can maybe just call out the craziness a little bit here of what's going on. Because social media is not realistic, and a lot of people are posting a lot of fake things on social media. I've heard of people literally pretending to go on a whole vacation to Europe, like totally pretending on their social medias, doing vlogs, doing all these things, like, and they're in the middle of Kentucky. So we never know that what we see is true. And also, just because someone else is making $100,000 a month doesn't mean that all of a sudden you need to start spending like you are someone who makes $100,000 a month, or feel bad that you were not ranking that in. Because again, look at these physicians making like 150K a year. They're not even pulling that in. That's insane. A very small portion of people are actually pulling that in. I just want you guys, I want me to just be happy with life. And I have set stronger and stronger boundaries over the past couple months with social media, because I start seeing all these things and I can get way in my head about it. Even like with, my relationship being like, oh my gosh, I see these people just like creating all these videos. They look so happy all the time. They look amazing. Why is my love not like that? It's like, wait a minute, stop, pause. You have a great man, you have a good relationship. Why are you overthinking things? It's like, oh, because I'm seeing all of this online. I'm like, that's not reality. I was following for a couple of years this like travel couple, and they were like, in love, and all these beautiful pictures of them in Greece, these gorgeous red dresses, all of that type of stuff. We've all seen those type of accounts. And it was about like a month ago. I remember going on her page and being like, we broke up, like things, they came out and they're like, things were a hell the past couple like years, and we were fighting all the time. I'm like, well, I would have never guessed from your photos. Would have never guessed. So I just want you to be happy. And I think focusing more on the present moment, focusing more on where you are here and building a good life for yourself here, and again, sticking to living within your means, or figuring out how you can add an extra income so that you can improve quality of life in certain areas. Sure, yeah. Don't get caught up in this crazy, crazy, crazy ass world of social media thinking that you're awful and you're not pretty and you're poor and you're this and you're that, all because it doesn't match up with what you see on social media. Because I don't think social media is matching up with the reality of our economy and our society and our world, and how like 95% of us live. That's it for me today. Again, my name is Chloe. You can follow me on Instagram at Flow with Chloe, or I just started a TikTok. You can follow me Flow with Chloe there as well. And I will see you guys in my next video, but only if you subscribe. So go ahead, click that button, and I'll see you a little later.